This is Tony West from Blacklist Union, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
One, two, three, four. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Let's talk about Blacklist Union then. What's the big news?
And there's no big news, we're just rocking it, I mean, that's what we're here to do on this planet is, I have this saying, let's rock this shit. So that's what we're doing. I think the new single's definitely doing that, especially the whatchamacallit, the reaction we've gotten around the world from it too is like amazing. So
I know last time we talked, we spoke in great length, I think, about your ayahuasca journeys over down in South America. Is that still influencing your writing and still
oh yeah,
influencing you today?
absolutely. I was just there in December and the December before that. And that's like it's like a spiritual workshop, that stuff, man. It's no joke, you know.
So you still go down there and do the same sort of thing? And
Yeah,
is it transformational every time?
every time. But eventually, like where I'm at now with all that is I've dealt with so much of, the pain and the trauma and the suffering and even past life stuff and all kinds of shit that you know, now it's a little less intense than it was when I first started, but that's, it just depends on what you got going on in your life, I guess, too. So,
How does that less intense experience then translate into new music, especially like Slay the Dragon or something?
I mean, Slay the Dragon, when I went down in 2023, when I started feeling the medicine, like the first thing Spirit told me was slay the dragon. I was like, okay, like I didn't know, I wasn't expecting them to say that, Um, but it's just a very profound, spiritual, deep experience. So it's very inspiring. Uh,
Is it difficult or do you find it hard to translate those transformative experiences into your lyrics and into your songs and into your stage? Or is that a natural
no,
thing?
I mean, the last two records have been all about that. So it's very natural and it just flows.
It comes easy though, you don't have to dig for that.
Not at all.
Do you feel some sense of responsibility to convey that message to your listeners?
I do. Yeah. It's really important. I was a kid that was highly influenced by, lyrics and music. And, I know there's people out there that are still like I was and am. So, I think that's really important, to spread, good messages. I mean, so much of the modern pop music and all that stuff is so negative and such bullshit and ghetto. It's like, like my daughter's 12 and she listens to some stuff. I'm like, what the hell? Like, there's so many ways to say things without coming out and saying it. Like, believe me, I cuss like a sailor, but like the stuff they say in these songs, the vulgarity and all that shit, it's just unnecessary. And especially, young girls, man, are getting influenced by this stuff, and young kids, like, believe me, I respect, some of the forefathers of rap, like NWA and
Sure.
Public Enemy and all that shit. But they did have a message, man. Now it's just like glorifying the bitches and the dope and the crime and all that shit. Like I just don't. That's just not my wheelhouse, man. Life is super short, and I believe if you don't get it right and you're an asshole, you're gonna have to repeat it. So
Right.
that's just
Do
my
you
own
find
personal
so?
opinion.
Oh, that's great. But do you see then your music as sort of a spiritual practice or a ritual?
Absolutely, yeah, and therapeutic. So, I always used to say, "Oh, we play street rock." In the last couple of records, people are like, "What kind of music do you play?" I'm like, "Oh, we play voodoo rock."
What is it you hope your fans take away from after listening to the record then, or Slay the Dragon, or any of that?
I mean, just some inspiration and some good ass rock and roll, man. So like we deliver the rock. That's what you got to do. Deliver the rock.
How do you hope listeners experience the balance between the darkness and the healing that you're bringing forward or bringing to the table?
I mean, man, I write music, primarily for myself. You know what I mean? I write music because we started this band because we want to play the music that we want to hear. I'm not worried about what other people are going to think when I'm writing music or recording or anything like that. And, I just hope that it touches people. And, it does. I get emails all the time from people saying, we played your song at our loved one's funeral or, whatever. I've gotten over the years, so many different things like that.
That's humbling and powerful, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't think you could imagine that you would make that connection with somebody on the other side of the world while you were writing it in your living room, bedroom, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I write what I write and we put it out there. So,
When you're writing, though, do you consider, I mean, obviously you want to progress in Blacklist Union and do something different from the past, but do you worry about might be doing something too different and your fans might not take the journey?
again, I write music because I'm writing music that I want to hear, and I think, I'm rock and roll to the bone, man. I have been since I was 5 years old. So, I'm just, and I hope it touches people. And apparently it does. There's no preconceived shit like, oh, I have to write this song. We have to write a hit or we have to make this or, fuck all that. We don't have to answer to people. I have to answer to my manager, and he's been my friend for years, but, you know, we write it, we put it out. That's basically it.
So do fans approach you after shows with like stories upon stories of how they've connected with your stuff?
Yeah, and I think where we're at now with the music too is it resonates people, it hits people differently without even them knowing why. You know what I mean? Because everything is frequency and vibrations. You learn that too in ayahuasca and spiritual teachings.
So why do you think that is then? That's just the current times we're in that it's resonating more?
I would think so. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I always say, I don't know if you noticed, but the world's gone batshit crazy.
Yes. So do you find that your music is an escape or a mirror highlighting the fucked upness of it all, like music has done from the 60s?
Yeah. I try not to engage in any of the fucked upness. You know what I mean? So, it's definitely an escape too. So, and it's a way to deal with stuff. Like, even for myself, the songs I sing is very therapeutic. Like, the way I write lyrics and stuff, it reminds me of things like what I need to do to stay on course.
So do you ever find yourself in a position where you've written some really fucked up lyrics or some really personal, in-depth lyrics, and then you've got to play that song every night of the week and revisit it? Is that tough?
I mean, our first record after the morning was about Bianca, my girlfriend had died and till death do us part, our third record was primarily about my first wife that died. But again, I'm not concentrating on the fucked upness of things. I'm concentrating on the healing.
So what's next for Blacklist Union then? You hitting the road?
Yeah, we did some tour dates with the Dead Boys last year and Texas Hippie Coalition. We got the new record coming out. We're working the singles and we got a couple hometown gigs this year, and then yeah, we're waiting on some road dates.
Are you going to be working the current business model of the music business where you're going to be doing singles every couple 6 weeks or
I just follow what my manager does because I don't give a flying fuck about the business part of it. In fact, that'll make me want to quit music, and I've tried doing that. That doesn't work too well. So, I care about the arts and writing and recording and performing, and that's my wheelhouse. The business part, I leave up to Paul Crosby, my manager and friend for over 25 years.
that's beautiful. And
Yeah.
it keeps it, I guess that keeps you totally isolated from it and able to just concentrate on what you're doing. And that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I have to know what's happening and all that shit, but I don't want anything to do with that shit. You know what I mean? It's like it's so rough, and luckily, I have someone that I trust that can, take care of it and take care of it in the right way. So,
Okay. And then what's next for you guys then? I know you got the couple singles, you got tours that might be in the works and anything else going on.
so the tours are definitely in the works. We got a new single, Mississippi Moonhound. And then the second one's Up in Smoke. It's going to be coming out in the beginning of July.
Okay. Actually, you mentioned that I have a question on Mississippi Moonhound anyway. It's described as a howl into the night for something more, haunted by the past but searching for redemption. Is that pretty accurate what that song is? Is that powerful?
Pretty much. I mean, I didn't write that, but it's pretty on point. Yeah.
And then lastly, if fans want to find you, Blacklist Union everywhere.
Just Google Blacklist Union. Yeah, Blacklist one word Union. We're on all the socials, and you can find us on Spotify and YouTube. We got a bunch of videos and all kinds of stuff. Lots of press out there. And we're not too hard to find. But the one thing is, there's lots of people in the world that love rock and roll that still don't know who we are. So, we want to hit those people and let them know alive and well is, rock and roll is alive and well, smack in the middle of hell.
Tony, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Good to see you
Yeah,
as
man.
always. Okay,
Thank you
we'll
so
talk to
much
you
for
soon.
having me. All right,
Bye
take
now.
care.
Hey everyone, this is Bjorn from Soulwork, and this is Brutally Delicious.
The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Hey there, heavy metal maniacs and kitchen crusaders. I'm Bruce Moore, the host of the Brutally Delicious Podcast, where we whisk up a blend of metal and food to quench even the most discriminate tastes. Have you ever wondered what your favorite metal musician chows down on before they hit the stage to melt your face off? Well, look no further. Here at the Brutally Delicious Podcast, we have cooking segments so brutal they'll make your oven want to headbang. From beefy, bodacious burgers, to spicy, succulent salmon, to kickin' caliente cauliflower, and more. We mix metal and culinary creations, resulting in a feast for the senses.
But wait, there's more.
Hey, this is Michael Monroe. Brutally delicious. Isn't that beautiful? See you down the road.
Each week, I meet with the mammoths of metal for interviews that are spicier than a Carolina Reaper. Get the latest on their upcoming shows, behind-the-scenes stories, and if we're lucky enough, maybe they'll share a secret family recipe or two with us. You'll also want to check out our weekly album and show reviews, where we dice, slice, and serve up our unique takes on the latest metal releases. So grab your leather apron, crank the volume to 11, and subscribe to the Brutally Delicious Podcast on your favorite podcast platform. It's sure to be a hell of a time.
Oh, hey there. It's Tim from Protest the Hero. Now that you've seen my junk, I'm going to show you how to make a pizza. And you're watching Brutally Delicious.
What's up, everybody? Max Cavalera, Soulfly, and you listen to Brutally Delicious Podcast. Stay metal, motherfuckers.
Southside.